Yes, guys, welcome back. So, our opposition preview. We're here for the big one, Manchester United versus Arsenal, of course, for tomorrow's game at Old Trafford. And yeah, we're joined by Sophia from Sophia's Football Talk. Sophia, thank you very much for obviously coming on the channel. And how are you today?
I'm all good. Not really looking that forward to tomorrow's game, but we got to do it. Thanks for having me on, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Guys, before we do start, I've put Sophia's channel link in the description. Sorry, and also the title. So make sure if you're not going over there and subbing already, make sure you go and do that. She does, great football content. Not just Man United, but she covers, a range of football. So make sure you go over there and drop her a sub. But yeah, look, firstly, I think I've been in your shoes before where not looking forward to games because we were in a very similar position, years when we had Una Emery and sort of last stages
Yeah,
of Wenger, where week in week out it'd be like, oh, here we go again because we was in the absolute gutter, and it's
true.
very similar to what you're in right now. So I think the best place to get started is obviously your season so far, and just obviously overall the season with Man United. I mean, just watching you lot from an outsider, I just look at you lot as a complete and utter mess at the moment. Like, real talk. And it's like last season, of course, I know Ten Hag came in and, he won you the Carabao Cup in the first season. I remember when you've beaten like Barcelona in Europa League and you was flying high.
Yeah,
You qualify for Champions League in his first season. And, I was thinking, what, Ten Hag guy can actually be a decent manager. But now, this
mhm.
season, I don't know what's gone wrong with Manchester United. Of course, you got knocked out in the Champions League early in the group stages. I mean, the Premier League form's been atrocious. Just not even the results, but the performances. I can't remember the last time that I've seen you guys actually play well and deserve to win a game. Like, it's either you play against these teams and you scrape wins or you get absolutely battered. I mean, I was watching the game against Palace on Monday night, absolute disaster. And
Yeah,
there's for me, there's certain ways where you like lose a game, right? In terms of all right, your players can give it all, you know, but just what I'm watching with Man United, it's like the players don't care. It's like they're down tools for Ten Hag as well. It's a complete mess in my opinion. But obviously, you're the Man United fan. What's been your thoughts on your season so far?
I mean, you've kind of already mentioned a lot of it. It's just the performances within the league has been atrocious. Not just the results, of course, but the performances by itself, and as well as the whole Champions League, finishing the bottom of the group, conceding a lot of goals within that group as well. Not much has really gone in our favor whatsoever, and also with the injuries. Not that I'm trying to make that an excuse
Mm.
whatsoever, because that's not the case. But like that's kind of like an added, annoyance, if you will. So yeah, this season has not been good at all. And I definitely want the manager to go. I want a lot of these players to go. I want the medical staff to go. I want to just rip it all off and try again next season. I'm counting the days left. Next week, league is done, and then it's the FA Cup final, which you know, not much hope there. But you never know. You never know. That's kind of where I'm
Yeah,
at.
I mean, it does look like it's going in that direction where I know you're getting some new positions in coming into United, and then of course there's so much talk about the manager himself, Ten Hag, moving on. So that's my next question: is it Ten Hag for you completely done with him? Even with these new people coming in, is it completely time to go for him now?
Yeah, I've been done since the Bournemouth game back in December, so I've been done for
Yeah.
months. I don't think there's much hope left. If we did see something in terms of maybe the way we play, maybe, but no, we're not seeing anything. And I just feel like he's kind of lied to us. I feel very much gaslighted after so many different interviews. I just scroll past whenever I see an interview or quotes out there that Fabrizio Romano tweets. It's at this point where I just dislike the guy. I can't. I can't see his face. He annoys me. So that's where I'm at. to be
Yeah,
fair.
I mean, even when I'm listening to his interviews, I'm sitting there. I mean, he loves to mention Arsenal in his interviews as well. Like he always refers back to the
Where
game
did it go?
at the Emirates this season, and he says, "Oh, well, we played well for Arsenal. Well, we should have had a penalty towards the end. Oh, the offside goal." I mean, he loves to, refer back to Arsenal. He's, I think a bit obsessed with us really because he always refers to us. But yeah, I mean, look, with this manager with Ten Hag, like. I mean, at Ajax, you saw obviously what he did, and I was like, maybe, as I said, it could be a decent appointment because of what he did at Ajax. And I know
Mhm.
what happened in the Champions League. He got them far, but obviously ultimately bottled it to the bottlers in Tottenham in that semi-final. But him coming in. I mean, as I said, he won you the Carabao Cup in his first season, which I thought, all right, he's won a trophy. I think he got you to the FA Cup final in that first season. He
Yep.
qualified you for Champions League. Obviously, he's beating teams like Barca in obviously the Europa League, and I was thinking, you know what, this is going well for them. And then this season, I think as you said, it's it's been a complete and disaster for him. I just feel like the players are down tools. He just out of ideas. Um,
Mhm.
he's just think a perfect time, especially with the new people coming in as well. Just have a fresh start, really. But
Yep.
I've seen quite a lot of people compare Mikel Arteta to Ten Hag because if you go back to Arteta's first sort of when he took over from Arsenal, he took over from obviously Emery. We were in and amongst, getting like the goal was to qualify for Champions League, and
Mhm.
Arsenal had a very shaky start. He finished eighth. I know, to be fair, he won the FA Cup, which Ten Hag like won the League Cup in his first season. Arsenal won the FA Cup in his first season, and we thought, all
Yep.
right, this is gonna be decent. And then we finished eighth back to back, and then you see what Arteta is doing now. But is there just like nothing? Is there any bit of hope for Ten Hag, or do you think he'll definitely get sacked as well?
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time. I mean, I will be very shocked if he doesn't get sacked. I've been waiting. I would have hoped it could happen before the FA Cup final, but probably won't be until after. So, but he will be going. I'm pretty sure of that. This is, we have a whole new board in now. This wasn't your guy. Get somebody new in. I know there's maybe not that many options out there potentially. We've been linked with Thomas Tuchel, who I'm not super, you know, fan of, but it is what it is. I just do not want Southgate. Also, yeah, definitely not Southgate. And I'm a bit unsure with Potter. I feel like if it didn't work out with Chelsea, why would it work out at Man United? Even bigger club.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, against like the names you mentioned there, I mean, Tuchel's a decent shout to be fair.
Mm,
Um, you know, obviously he won the Champions League with Chelsea. I mean, I know what happened with Bayern Munich. He's obviously left at the end of the season and he lost Bundesliga, but he got them far in the Champions League there. Um, but yeah, managers like Gareth Southgate coming in and Graham Potter as well. Again, I mean, as you rightly said, why would you get him when you see what's happening at Chelsea with someone like Potter? It just wouldn't really make sense.
exactly.
But I
It wouldn't.
mean, I heard about maybe the Zerbi as well from obviously Brighton. I
Hmm.
mean, it's it's going to be interesting to see obviously what manager you
Yeah.
do get in. Um, obviously for when Ten Hag does eventually get sacked. But look, I mean, coming into this game, right, at Old Trafford. Now, when I look at this game and we look at the teams this season, right, we know that we're astronomically like levels above you. Like with all due respect, it's clear. Like we're having a superb
It's
season.
true. Yeah.
We are. We can still win the league title, but we got to hope Man City obviously drop points against Tottenham or um, West Ham. But it's not likely going to happen. But we still are in there. We're still competing for the league title. We're having a great season. We've scored the most goals, conceded less amount of goals. We've been playing some really good football. So the teams are completely clear. But my only factor about this game is Arsenal away at Old Trafford. We don't do well there whatsoever. Even last season, you guys done us. You guys beat us 3-1 last season, and it's when obviously Anthony scored his first goal, and I
Yeah.
think obviously Rashford scored twice, and you did beat us 3-1. So we have an awful record against you at Old Trafford. Does that give you just a little bit of hope that, and also the fact that maybe the players know it's against Arsenal. Like we have a bit of a rivalry. You know, back in the obviously years ago, it was always Arsenal
Hmm.
and Man United competing for the top. You know, does that give you a bit of hope that our record's not great and the players may be up for it?
Maybe like a slight hope, but it's not really that much. You guys, like you mentioned, there's levels to this game, and we are far away from that level, unfortunately. But you never know. The thing is, though, sometimes when it's really expected that we're gonna lose, especially towards or against the bigger teams, we often do sometimes show up. We've done it against Liverpool back to back, even in the, of course, um, FA Cup as well. We won, so you never know. And also against Chelsea, when of course, Chelsea's not your level, but either way,
Mm.
step it up. But I don't know. I don't really have like super much hope. If I'm going to be very honest, I think I'm not going to say you're going to smash us. I don't think that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
But I think you will win. I think you will win very confidently. I think so.
Is this like the first time you've came into a game against Arsenal like feeling this way that you're not confident against us?
Yep.
Yeah, I think
First time.
that just shows you like the drop off is crazy because
Yep.
as I said, like this game was massive, years and years ago, and obviously it's still a big game. You are a massive football club
Yep.
in England in terms of size and history, and so are we. I mean, we're the third biggest, and you're up there as well. So it's always been one of these big games, but just the drop off and the decline over the recent years is it's been absolutely crazy. So yeah, I mean, is there? And I know there's a bunch of injury concerns with Man United. Your centre backs, like I saw the game against Palace, you had to deal with Casemiro centre back. I thought he was dreadful, by the way. John and obviously Johnny Evans was your only fit centre back, but that's going to be the same against Arsenal, right? You may have to go with
Most likely.
Casemiro and Evans. So I mean,
Probably. Yeah.
what's going on with the injuries at Man United? I mean, I heard that maybe I don't know if he's back. I heard he's back in training, but Rashford's doubtful. Bruno Fernandez doubtful. I read out a whole
Hmm.
squad yesterday. You had about 11, 12 players out injured. Is it
Yeah.
is it
There's a
just?
lot.
I mean, because I see not just you guys. I see with Newcastle this season. I
Oh
see
yeah. Yeah.
with Brighton this season. Do
Hmm.
you think that's been a big part? I mean, again, it's not really an excuse for me, but
No.
is that a bit of a reason why you think you've been like this season because of the injuries?
I don't want to. Nah, maybe to some extent, but I'm not gonna fully. The thing is, though, we had most of our players. I think everybody at the beginning of the season, even the first game against Wolverhampton, and we still got you know
Mm,
bopped up the park, but we robbed them essentially with Varane
yeah,
scoring late in that game. They should have had a penalty, probably should have won, at least got a point. So already we were seeing issues then. So I can't sit there and say that okay, injuries is a big part. It's maybe one factor, but it's not like the full, issue to why we are where we are. I think with the manager just not fully implementing what he wants to implement, some of the players just not being able to do it, and yeah, I think and of course also injuries. It's a mixture of everything.
mm,
But
yeah,
the thing is, with some of the injuries, a lot of it also happens in training, where we suddenly hear right before a game, "Oh, this player's injured." Why? What do you guys do in training? Huh? Doesn't make sense at
yeah.
all.
I mean, we was going through similar as well with this season where we had quite a few players out injured, and players kept getting injured as well. Like Partey kept getting injured with us. Tommy Yasu kept getting injured. We have
Hmm.
I mean, Jesus. They always pick up these injuries, man. And it's like, yeah, what do these people actually do in training? Because, and yeah, as you said, it comes before a game, and people, start panicking, and it's just an absolute nightmare. And it's happened to, like as I
Yeah,
said, many clubs this season. They've really
many.
been hit hard with. I mean, even like Chelsea's another one as well. Some of their signers they signed haven't even played. Like Lavia's not even played yet for them. And Gunku's barely featured as well because of injuries. It's crazy. But um, is there, in terms of this season? Because I look at some of your players, right, and I'm just trying to figure out. because as I said, we've been superb in terms of defensively this season. We've kept the most clean sheets. Raya has been given Golden Glove. Saliba and
Hmm.
Gabriel have been immense. Our win backs with Ben White and even someone like Kivior stepping in has been superb for us this season. Um, and I look at some of your players, obviously some just some threats in there, and I you know I rate someone like Rasmus Højlund, who obviously you signed in the summer. I actually think he's a decent player, but every time I watch him, I barely see the guy get enough service. And obviously, I also rate people like Bruno, obviously Mainu in the midfield. I think's a quality player as well.
Hmm.
And I think he's actually elevated your midfield as well. And it's crazy how young the guy is and how well he's been doing with you guys.
Yeah.
But what do you say? Like, do you really see United's in terms of me as an Arsenal fan? Is there any players who really you're confident about this season who have really stood out as much? Obviously, because you've been having an awful season. Is there any players who really stood out for you?
I mean, Kobe Mano for sure has been the shining light of this season. He's been incredible, but even the last few games, it looks like he looks tired.
Mm,
He needs a break. I think also with Ganacho for the majority of the season has really showed up. But they are being overplayed and it shows. But definitely more so the youngsters are the ones that's been okay. I believe if we build something around them, especially with Kobe Mano for next season, then we got something. But it's important having somebody that's going to develop them because at some point, if we don't get our ish together, Kobe Mano will leave, and as he
yeah.
should, because we should not be holding him back if we're not going to get ourselves together and trying to take something, and be serious. But those are the ones for me, especially. And I would say Dallo as well, probably.
Mm.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about one of the players who obviously for me were absolutely superb last season in obviously Rashford.
Mm,
Even and the thing is, even when he does play against Arsenal, he always seems to turn up. Even this season, he scored against us at Emirates. Last
yeah.
season, Emirates, he scored. Old Trafford, he scored twice.
Yeah.
But I've just seen a massive decline with Marcus Rashford's, this season. What is it? Is it the manager's obviously system and he's sort of, or is it more the player side of things with Rashford? What's been the whole drop off of him? Do you think?
That's a good question. I mean, I think it can be a little bit of both. I think something is, he's definitely very low on confidence. So I think a very big reason probably is like a player issue. Um, being played a lot. Of course, there's been maybe injuries involved, of course, as well. But something doesn't seem right mentally. I think it's been, as you know, a lot of off the field issues as well. So yeah, I think slowly the time is running out for Marcus Rashford. He's not no longer that young kid that broke into the scene about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
He's grown in his late 20s. You know.
Yeah, it's yeah, exactly. He's getting older, and obviously, as I said, he was superb for you guys last season. It's just crazy to see because I think there's quality there. I really do. But I mean, who knows? Maybe when you get a new manager in under a new style of play, under a new system, he can maybe thrive off it. If he does, obviously stay on with you guys because I know there've been quite a few rumors of him. I know Arsenal
Hmm.
apparently linked with Rashford as well. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with him. But all right, so obviously going into this game, Old Trafford, as I said, I mean the only thing that fears me in terms, well, not really fears, but is a factor to look at is Old Trafford. It's gonna be, we have an awful record there, and even games where we were on the top as well. I mean, there's games years ago when we only beat you 1-0. Um, Players like Overmars and had a masterclass. I mean, Wiltor scored a few years ago, and we beat you 1-0. It's always been very
Hmm.
tight games with United. So I do agree with you. Like I don't think, so I see so many people saying it's going to be a smashing. Realistically, like if we look on the course of this season, if you look on the teams this season, yeah, it should be a smashing to Arsenal, but I just don't see that type of game playing out. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, as you said, I mean, how you feeling? Obviously, going into this game, I mean, will you stand any chance of even getting a point against Arsenal, or is it like, nah, I've got no confidence whatsoever?
I personally think you're gonna win, but I won't be shocked if we get something out of this game because usually sometimes we be showing up when a lot of people don't assume that we're going to. We might just do that. So you never know. It is at Old Trafford. And like you mentioned, Josh, your record at Old Trafford hasn't been the best over many, many years. So we have maybe that it to our advantage, but it's just with how good you guys are this season that I just don't really believe that we're gonna get much out of this game. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, but look, and you made a good point as well. Like, I remember this season, of course, against Liverpool, that game where that was a big part of why obviously you stopped their title hopes, because that game led on to them losing a bit of momentum. Them, you
Hmm.
losing to you're obviously then going to other competitions like Europa League and getting battered by Atalanta, losing to Palace, joining to West Ham, and ultimately they capitulated their title hopes. So yeah, you definitely can do it. And even this season, I do remember the game at the Emirates where you took the lead from Rashford, and we also got a quick equalizer, but it was 1-1 for a long period of the game, and
Yeah.
that Garnacho goal got disallowed for he's like toe was offside or something crazy like that. And people talking about the whole penalty incident towards the end with you guys, and obviously it took us two late goals where we obviously scored from Rice and Jesus. So yeah, I think you will give us a game in terms of the fact that I don't. As much as I would love to smash you guys with all due respect, because I remember the 8-2 in 2012 where you lot absolutely battered us. I don't see that type of game, sort of playing through. I really don't.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm very confident that we will go there because we've shown as well, like Arteta has shown that when we do have these sort of games where we don't do well, like even Tottenham away, we hadn't won there since 2013, and we did the last season away from home and we beat them there. Um, Even Man City this season, we hadn't beat Man City in the Premier League since 2016, and we beat them 1-0 this season. So we've
Mm.
definitely shown, like,
Yeah.
even there's places that are hard to come to, we've definitely sort of overcame that. And I do think this game as well could be a bit of pressure for Arsenal, because we seen what happened with Man City. They absolutely battered Fulham tonight. They've played first before us, so now we're chasing them, and we only need to win these two games, so it's must win. So I do think you guys make it frustrating, but how do you see, obviously, United sort of lining up? I don't know, with the injuries, it's going to be, pretty tough, but how would you see Ten Hag line up against Arsenal?
So I think, Onana, that's a shoe-in, of course. Same with Dallo, Wan-Bissaka. He'll probably put, which I don't think he should, but he'll probably put Wan-Bissaka left back because that's what he's been doing for the past few games. We might probably also see Casemiro and Johnny Evans back as a centre-back partnership, which makes me very concerned, but it is what it is. In midfield, Bruno and McTominay was back in training, so I think they might start, but I'm not sure. I'm just going to assume that they will, alongside Kobe Mano within a midfield. And then we'll have probably Garnacho on the left, Anthony on the right, and then Højlund up top. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, like, when I look into your team, I'm just thinking, where's where's the goals going to come from? Like, and
I don't know.
it's like, even with us, the only thing where I can maybe see us, obviously see you doing is, as many teams have sort of sussed it out with Arsenal, where if we don't take our chances, because I see the amount of shots you concede is unbelievable, right?
It's
I think
insane.
I saw a stat. I think you conceded more than the Derby County side that got relegated for the worst Premier League team in
Oh,
history or
Lord.
something like that. Absolutely crazy. So we're most likely, of course, you have plenty of chances, but what Arsenal struggled with in certain games this season is sort of being too, like, complacent, and sort of in the final thirds, if we don't take our chances, then we're sort of, we're cooked.
Mm-hmm.
Villa did it. Emirates this season, we controlled the game, dominated everything in that first half, and we didn't take our chances. It took one chance, and they took it, and then we ended up, losing the game 2-0. West Ham, we had 30 shots against them, lost a game 2-0 at the Emirates. So that's the only way if you know Man United can sort of suss that out, and you know we'll have
Yeah,
multiple chances. If Man United can sort of suss it out, then maybe that could be a way for you to take points off of us, because that's all it's going
potentially.
to take really. Like if we drop points, even if it's a draw, right, then the league's done for us. You know, as less likely it is right now to win it, there's still a slight chance. Anything can happen, of course. We're hoping for other teams, but we know we have to do we know we have to do our main thing and win these 2 games to stand a chance. So even a draw, if you guys can get a draw off us, then you're going to end our title hopes. And I'm sure as much as you had an awful season, that can be a little bit of a sort of bright point to end it. That you've ended Arsenal's title hopes, because of course we are rivals at the end of the day. So yeah, but I look at that team and I just I don't see where the goals are going to come from. Like, you know, that is a problem. I wanted to ask you as well, like summer window wise as well, what
Hmm.
needs to obviously happen in terms of position wise, and also players that you need to sell as well.
You think for the next window coming up?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
one, summer window coming up. Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of players that should go. Whether or not we will be getting rid of a lot of players is, that's a big question. We'll have to wait and see. But we should. I mean, Varane probably most likely will be going. Which personally, I would like to keep him, but his contract is running out this by the end of the season, June, I believe. So he will probably be going. So we need the center back. Maguire might also be going. So I think we definitely would need like 2 center backs or at least one. We need I think Casemiro, thank you for your service, but you got to go. We need a defensive
yeah,
midfielder. Um, also think we should be getting another striker because Martial will be going by the end of the season. That's confirmed. And also you need somebody to help Haaland out because that's too much pressure on the kid. I don't think he should be that number one striker up top at all. So that will start set, and also a left back. We might also get a right back. I don't know. There's a lot that we need to work on, Josh. Basically,
yeah.
it's a lot that needs to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I keep going back. Like, we were in a very similar position to you guys. Like, we had dead wood in Arsenal. And, you know, it took obviously Arteta multiple seasons. You know, he spent
Hmm.
almost. It will take him this season to around 800 million or 900 million. If we get January, it's 1 billion at Arsenal. So it does take a lot of you know, time, and you know, it's quite hard also to get these players out of your club. I mean, and as you said, even if they do eventually move on, it's going to be very hard, because we experience it ourselves. You know, many players just would either run their contracts down and try and leave on a free, or you know,
Hmm.
half the time, no, we would struggle to sell them as well. For which is why many players are players that we sell, we have to let go on a free or just terminate their contract. You know, like I see other clubs like Liverpool, they're good at selling because they sell players like they sold like Solanke, Jordan Ibe, multiple players, and they got around like 20 plus million for them. Like we never do that with Arsenal, so
Same.
it is hard to get rid of Deadwood. I think there is many players that you got to get rid of, and also you know players that you're gonna have to sign as well. It's going to be a very interesting summer, most likely as well with a new structure, a new like structure and setup. And you know I've seen the new positions you're going to be getting in as well, and also the new manager as well. So it's going to be you know massive for you guys this summer. But
Yep.
um, what's your score prediction, Sophia?
3-1 Arsenal.
3-1 Arsenal. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, what did I go with? I went with, you know what? I think I went same as you. No, I think I went 3-1. Like yeah, I do think we will concede because it's away at Old Trafford. I do see you
Hmm.
getting a goal, but yeah, I think we should keep it comfortable and you know get these 3 points. That's all that
Yeah.
matters for us is the result at the end of the day. You know, I couldn't care less even if we
Of
beat you
course.
guys 1-0. All it is you know the result. That's all that matters is the 3 points. So
100%.
yeah, yeah, guys, big up everyone who tuned in today. Sophia, before you do go, if you want to shout your channel and also what content you got coming up as well.
Yeah. First and foremost, thanks for having me on. It's been great. I really appreciate it. You guys can find me on Sophia's Football Talk on YouTube. I do a lot of Man United content, but I also do, content in regards to other Premier League clubs, Champions League, international football, women's football. So yeah, I will be doing watch along for the Man United women versus Spurs women, as they're going to be having an FA Cup final tomorrow. So I'm going to do a watch along for that, and right after we will be doing a reaction for the Man United Arsenal game. So that's going to be my content coming up for tomorrow. Because
Yeah, and once again, Sophia, thank you very much for taking your time to come on the channel today.
no
You
problem.
know, really enjoyed it. It's been obviously you're always welcome as well on the channel
Thank you.
whenever you want. So, yeah, guys, if you're not already, make sure you go and check out Sophia's channel. Links in the title. Give her a sub, and yeah, she does some amazing content. So, yeah, guys, tomorrow, of course, match day. We'll be back. Watch long match review, player ratings, all that stuff coming after the game, guys. So. We'll see you tomorrow. Arsenal get the must win. Do not let us down tomorrow. And look, Man United, you guys could cause another upset. You could cause
Maybe.
another team in terms of their title hopes as well. So we have to wait and see. But we're getting out of it, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evenings. And yeah, come on, you Gunners.